Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here, and welcome to another episode of Wizard Watch, the weekly show where we break down the top moments from this week's episode of Smackdown. Now before we get into the juicy stuff, as always, it's very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. So let's get to it. So we didn't see Bray Wyatt this week on Smackdown, however, we did get a defiant Bobby Lashley. Yes, that's right. Bobby Lashley was on SmackDown and he feels that Bray Wyatt is avoiding him. Bray Wyatt told him to run. Therefore, if Bray Wyatt's not going to come to him, he's going to come to Bray Wyatt's show. And I've got to say, Bobby Lashley is improved a lot on the mic. You got to remember he wasn't great on the mic and he's far from perfect on the mic, but much better. You know, much better. Looking sharply dressed as always as well, and stating his intent. He's not afraid of Bray Wyatt. And we thought at that point we might get Bray Wyatt, and then out of nowhere, the creepiest of Titantrons that will give you nightmares. Uncle Howdy's face appeared on the screen, and we saw this image of a door. And of course we know that's the theme within the Bray Wyatt storyline at the moment. You know, him asking the question, who opened the door? So I thought that was really cool. Cool Titantron, loving the theme, the Uncle Howdy theme. It's absolutely badass, even if we only heard it for a second. And out of nowhere, just like that, we got Uncle Howdy. He appeared. And did you hear that laugh? I mean, what the heck? If that's not Bo Dallas, I don't know who is. And he attacked Bobby Lashley, but it kind of backfired. Bobby Lashley stood his authority, attacked Uncle Howdy, and just as he went to spear him, the lights went out. Very Fiend-esque. I think there's a lot of Fiend hints here. There has been for the last couple of weeks as well. So it's a really interesting point. A lot of people, a lot of fans were hating on this, saying that it made Uncle Howdy look weak. But after all, when you look at the context of this storyline and the way it looks like it's going, it appears as though Uncle Howdy is being played by Bo Dallas to protect Bray Wyatt's lies. So taking a mini beatdown, and it wasn't really even a beatdown, was it, from someone like Bobby Lashley, is not exactly burying a character. Now, of course, at this stage, we've got more questions than answers, and you've got to remember with Bray Wyatt, he's luring us, the fans, Bobby Lashley especially, into a false sense of security, just as you think this is not really going anywhere, there's no answers, a lot of people are down on it. There will be a huge payoff at WrestleMania. You can bet your house on it, there will be. Next up, we got to talk about that epic promo between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Now, I know a lot of Cody Rhodes promos to this point have been based around his father and his connections to NXT. However, in this case, we can all agree it hit different with Roman Reigns. And of course, Roman Reigns went for the low-hanging fruit, hit the low blow by referencing his father, by bringing up the fact that his father would say that he had the it factor, and whenever Roman Reigns was in Dusty Rhodes' presence, he would never mention Cody Rhodes. I mean, ouch. However, this kind of backfired on Roman Reigns because it didn't have the desired effect. If anything, it just added fuel to the fire and motivated Cody Rhodes even more. And I love the little details with Roman Reigns. This just shows how brushed and polished he is. The fact that he sort of smirks when he's in Cody's presence, but as soon as his back's turned, you can see the genuine fear and concern. He's worried about WrestleMania. Believe that. This was a really cool promo overall. I loved the fact that Cody Rhodes threw back to the legacy days, the fact that Randy Orton was his mentor back then in that faction alongside Ted DiBiase as well. Where did he ever go? There were references to Stardust and of course All In. And in summary, it just shows how far Cody Rhodes has come to this point. And we're all behind him. Next up, it's a bit out there, but I'm going to talk about the Santos Escobar Dominic Mysterio match. I thought this is pretty decent. I love the little touch by having the mask up there on the ring post. The very mask that Rey Mysterio gave to Santos Escobar and signed. So obviously it meant an awful lot to him. And of course, we knew that there was going to be some interference via Mami, and there was. Riptide smashed on Santos Escobar, and of course, Dominic picking up the scraps. It makes sense. Of course, it does. Of course, Mami was in action against Liv Morgan as well in the night and getting the victory, quite rightly so, with this submission. I mean, poor old Liv Morgan. Another submission on her, damn it. But nevertheless, like, obviously this is just heating up Rhea Ripley heading into WrestleMania and her match against Charlotte, and just giving Dominic Mysterio even more heat, if he can get any more heat, that is. Next up, in what I call the IC title scrap, because it seems like every man and his dog wants to go after the IC title, and this all started with Drew McIntyre coming down to the ring and basically saying he wants to beat the nizzle out of Gunther, and then Sheamus came down. They sort of have a little bit of a lover's tiff because Sheamus felt like Drew McIntyre had gone behind his back for stating his intent for the IC title, knowing how much that means to Sheamus. And then we got LA Knight, and by the way, what a pop he got. I pray he gets involved in WrestleMania in some capacity. He deserves it after all the work he put in that feud with Bray Wyatt. And then you had the New Day, and then you had Karrion Kross as well. Karrion Kross standing strong at the very, very end of all this. So of course this brings up the questions. Are WWE heading in the direction of potentially a ladder match at WrestleMania for the IC title? Potentially. Now moving on finally to the main course. Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn. And of course we all knew the outcome. We knew Solo was going to win this match via interference from Jimmy. And that's exactly what happened. However, Sami Zayn yet again stood defiant, delivering the haluva kick on Jimmy yet again, of course throwing a chair at Solo and then scurrying off and standing tall. And of course this is infuriating Jimmy, this is infuriating Solo. The bloodline seemingly is starting to disintegrate because Roman Reigns has called Jimmy Uso out and said, you've got a week to get Jay on side, you've got a week for Jay to show up, or else this is all on you. So he must deliver. Again, like anything, this bloodline storyline is still the gift that keeps on giving. Like 2.5 years plus on. Actually, it's probably a little bit more than that now, isn't it? Come to think of it. And it's still not getting boring. Also, on a quick side note, we saw Shayna Baszler beat Tegan Nox in a singles match. This was, of course, supposed to be a tag team match. We were supposed to have Natalya and Tegan Nox versus Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. However, apparently there was some sort of scuffle before the matchup. Ronda's arm got injured. Now her arm's in a sling. She couldn't be in the match. Therefore, Shayna took on Tegan and got the victory for Ronda. Overall, I think this is a pretty decent show. Again, not groundbreaking. It stood out really for me for the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns segment, of course, and of course seeing old Uncle Howdy as well. I'm going to give it a C. It's okay. All roads lead, of course, to WrestleMania now, and I think things are really going to start to heat up. Stay tuned for Monday Night Raw, where we see John Cena and an interaction, of course, with Austin Theory, which inevitably, surely, is going to set up the matchup between the two of them. But we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, be really appreciative if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. And we'll catch you in the next one.